Welcome to the People Powered Community Podcast, where we dive into the inspiring stories of go-to-market professionals who have leveraged their skills to create strong and lasting connections within their community. Get ready to be inspired and learn how you too can harness your business superpower for good.
Hello, and welcome to the People Powered Community Podcast. I'm your host, Leslie Greenwood, founder and CEO of Chief Evangelist Consulting, and we are here live with a new episode featuring the head of revenue operations at Buildots. Welcome to the show, Leore Spira.
Hi, Leslie. Thank you for having me. Super excited.
Yeah, we've known each other for what? Might be almost 3 years now, or 2.5 years?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Met each other through Pavilion, and I think when I was working there, we just had a chat one day, and we just kind of hit it off, and we've stayed in touch since then. And so, although we've never met in person, however, it is a goal for sure.
Yeah. I think we live in in two different places, around the globe, but with different hours and lifestyle. And it's interesting that we're still in touch. I love it, by the way.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. So, well, awesome. Well, today we're going to talk at length about your superpower, how that relates to community. But first, let's get to know you a little bit. Tell us who you are, what you're doing now, and a little bit about how you got here.
Okay, so I'm Leore from Tel Aviv, Israel. Actually, I was born in the States, but after 2 years, we came back because we do love this country. Especially my parents, I loved growing up here. I'm actually a lawyer that somehow became a revenue operations leader.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're the third one of those I know that are ex-lawyers.
Yeah, but I did it, after the bar exam. So my parents, I don't know if my parents are still mad at me. But my dad is still convinced, like he's telling me every now and then, at Friday dinners, like, Leore, I feel that the day's coming, like you're coming back, because my dad is an accountant, and so are my brother and sister, and they're also lawyers, and they said, like, we need you back. Yeah, I think you're coming back. You're coming back. I said, oh, okay, enjoy that thought, but. Yeah, and today I work at Buildots, a construction tech company. I came here to establish and build the revenue operations department from scratch, build a team, and support the go-to-market business units to grow and become more efficient and productive, and help the company to be at its best. And also, I think I had a great opportunity because revenue operations, I think, more than 3 years ago, nobody knew what it means. Today, still nobody knows what it means, but people are talking about it, so it's good. I came and I joined the company at a very early stage, which was amazing because I joined together with the go-to-market, and we built all the foundations together. So something different that what I'm used to, I think, from previous positions. Usually when I started the sales operations and sales and marketing operations, I joined when the company was a mess and the CRM was a mess, and all I did is cleaning data. So I know strategy. So I think, it kind of, I think like the company supports my vision and mission, or at least how I see it and how I believe in it. And I also founded the community here in Israel. The first community that is basically, it's more of a hub for operations leaders, not just RevOps, also for all kind of operations roles, especially in high tech. Just because I felt this is a citation that I gave once, I think, in another podcast a few years ago, and I said, I'm tired to be a lonely wolf. So so I think it came from that pain and need. But somehow, the ecosystem has changed, and I think companies now understand that this is not a one man job. You need a team to succeed, because your recipe for success is actually relies on the go-to-market leaders, but yet again, you can't do everything yourself. So so this is who I am, and I do a lot of stuff, out of
Yeah.
work and career and building, my voice as a RevOps expert. But basically it takes most of my time. I'm such a boring person.
I would say that's a no. Not a boring person. I like what you said, because you said recipe, and by nature, a recipe has multiple ingredients.
Correct.
So, like that is so important. And then we'll just double down that RevOps is not just the CRM data cleanup and not just the I need a tool connected. So just for all you RevOps people out there listening, I know your mission. Let's go. So, well, that's awesome. And I would say definitely I see you as a strategic builder. So you like to build, and then that whole strategy mindset is definitely something that we've talked about many times before.
Correct.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your superpower now, and then based on what I know, I have an idea, but let's hear it from you. Tell me about your superpower.
Yeah. So I think throughout the years, I always thought, or try to understand what is really my superpower. But when we talked about it, I told you that I feel like I'm Mulan, the Disney character, and I think through the years, I've discovered that, like, the three pillars that she believes in. First, she's a woman warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
second of all, so the three pillars that she believes in is loyal, brave, and truth, which I think these three pillars not just describe me as a person, also me as a professional, as an expert, as a leader, because eventually she becomes a leader. She becomes something that, and she's doing it with honor and with honesty and loyalty, and she's super brave. And I look at myself as that person, very humble. And I think this is my superpower. And I think eventually this is what got me to where I am, especially, as a revenue leader, as a woman revenue leader. I never considered myself that person, but I was recognized as one in recent years in several places and communities and other colleagues. So it's an honor, and and I think basically this is also what revenue operations means eventually, because this is what we do, and because we're loyal and we're brave. We're not taking yes for an answer, and we're trying to build and strategize things, and we follow our truth, or the company truth. And this is also how I manage myself personally in my personal life, so, or at least trying to. So
yeah. Oh, I love that, because that is one thing people talk about a lot, is the source of truth. Like, we need to have one source of truth, and your work mission is to get that one source of truth to flow out to all the different places and help build companies. So that's pretty
actually,
pretty amazing.
I never looked at it like this. You see, we're just trying to help others to be the best version that they can be in their team, to bring more revenue or to grow, in a way, as a company, as professionals, as individuals. So
I want to go back to something you said. You said, it's something I've started thinking about, as those are your superpowers, but you've been recognized for it before. When did you decide that you were just going to step into that truth and own it? And what kind of helped you step into that truth and own it?
I think I was like this throughout of my whole life. I always believed in my way, or tried to do it my way. And I think the first time that I did it was, so in Israel, we are enlisting to the army, women and men.
Mhm.
And I joined this, I joined this unit that actually, like, I wanted to be a combat and I wanted to work with fighters. But eventually, I was somehow pulled into a unit that helped youth in distress. And I served, in a unit that it was not close to home. And my parents told me, like,
Mhm.
why are you doing this? Like, you live in Tel Aviv. I said, no, I wanted to do something else. I wanted to influence or to make an impact. And I guess this is what happened. And I helped for almost 2 years, youth in distress, and tried to be, true to my way. And the same was later on. I studied law, and my family wanted me to become a lawyer. And after passing the bar exam, I
Mhm.
told them, okay, it was nice. I loved it. I learned a lot, but this is not my truth.
Uh,
This is not my way. This is not my mission. And I need to reinvent myself. And my dad, I remember he told me, like, but Leore, you're not getting any younger. You need to build your career. You need to build, like, you need to be somebody. And I said, I will.
what does he think you do?
Yeah, no, I will. No, you're taking risks. Why? And I'm a risk taker. This is what I do. Brave.
Mhm.
So this is what I did. I restarted my life again, and I worked at a nonprofit organization, which was actually, I think, a smooth move from army to this nonprofit organization that actually helped youth in distress. And but this is where I met
Mhm.
Salesforce and met, CRM and data and processes, and
Ah.
did it. Did what I'm doing today, but for a nonprofit organization. But since budgets, at least back then,
Mhm.
more than 10 years ago, like, budgets usually, went to the activities, to the project, to the youth, to therapists, not for CRM.
Mm.
Yeah, but I did, and I learned, and I think, and then I when I studied my for my master's, strategy, government, and marketing, I've decided that, yeah, this is another, like, I really want to save the world, and I want to make an impact, but I have to build
Mhm.
myself. I need to be true to myself. So I changed my career
Mhm.
again. Um,
I've had 7 or 8, so I mean, it's
yeah,
totally okay.
no, and this is how
And you're
I,
much younger than me. You got plenty of time to have more.
of course, and this is, and by the way, I started as marketing, and look at me today. I'm revenue operations. Nobody knows what it is, and even, when my parents ask me, like, but what do you do? Like, we understand there is a company's named Sales, but what do? So yeah, I think I'm loyal, brave, and true to myself. And
Mhm.
I think I'm loyal, brave, and true to us women, in revenue position, in
Mhm.
business. We are good at what we do. We do understand business. We can influence. And I think what's amazing with this, with the mission and vision of this position, is that, yeah, there are the buzzwords, breaking the silos, holistic process, blah, blah, blah. But eventually what we do is we're
Mhm.
telling the truth. We're telling the truth to the company, to management, to the founders. We are being brave by
Mm.
telling the truth to the company. Although sometimes, there are politics involved, or, nobody wants to hear that they're not good at what they do, because everybody thinks that they're amazing at what they do. And we're loyal because eventually we're loyal to the company, and we're loyal to
Mhm.
ourselves, to the data. And yeah, and I think
Yep.
at some point, like, back then, nobody even knew or understand what sales operations means. So revenue
Mhm.
operations. But I think it was very natural for me to eventually become or transform myself into such position or such role, and also be a leader or the spokesperson that is not afraid of, not just taking the hit about wide revenue operations, and actually, ask to be part of the decision making process and be part of the discussions and have a seat at the table, but also, speak my mind about revenue. And and actually, I had a conversation with a colleague from my community, by the way. They told me, that Leore, he said, Leore, you're doing something amazing. And I said, what? No, you know what? You're doing something amazing because I don't think you understand what you're doing. So I asked him, okay, like what? And he said, you are building the path for us, the young generation, to eventually become revenue leaders. Like, you are exposing the mission and vision. And even if you think you're not succeeding at what you do because it's tough out there, you're giving us like the opportunity, like in 2 years or 3 years or 5 years from today, to be what you are. And this would be your success. And this is how you're brave and doing what you do with like, without being afraid of, how people will see, or like if they agree or not about not just your methodologies and way of thinking, but also, like how they see this position as more strategic and not just tool, CRM, integrations, data fix, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So yeah, it was really nice.
Yes. I love that. I love all of that. I love the way that you're using that because I told you beforehand, like, I'm going to ask you, like, where did this come from? Because these people just don't become these things. And I love your story about, growing up and being in the Army, and then how you use that and have transitioned that to now. And obviously that, that leader that you were talking about, Mulan, becomes, is something that your person that you were just talking to in your community told you that you are, in a very distinct, specific way, without saying the word. And so that's amazing. And I will quote Ravi. I had Ravi Rajani on. He was my first person I interviewed, thank God, because he's a really good interviewer. So like when I messed up, he just kind of redid the conversation. But what I wrote down from him was unapologetic self-expression. And I think that is something that definitely, I think, applies to you. And I think that's probably one reason why we've gravitated to each other over the years, is that I think we're both very similar in that thing. Well, let's we've already talked about it a little bit, so let's transition into community. So you both, I met you through a community, so I know you participate in communities as members.
Yeah.
And then you have a community, which we talked right before this. I'm excited to hear about like the growth and what you've seen there. But like, how do you see that? Actually, we probably just answered this question, so we're gonna have to talk about something else. Like, I was gonna say, how do you see that your superpower plays into community? And please feel free to add anything else. But like, you just gave a very specific example of how that plays in the community. But
Yeah, no.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So when I founded the Optimizers, which is an Israeli community right now, and I'm trying also to think, how to maybe transform it globally or not, just collaborate with other communities, because I think what I've discovered, that the power of communities during the recent years, especially, by the way, through COVID. I think I met you and I met a lot of other professionals, if it's through Pavilion or other communities, professional communities that I've discovered. And I was not afraid to go global, because I, unfortunately, and again, this was one of the catalyzers that helped me, found this community, is that in Israel, I felt alone. I felt that I'm a one-woman show. I'm a lonely wolf. I have to, in order for me to succeed, I have to self-learn or teach myself, everything, or approach other professionals. And, 10 years ago, nobody even talked about mentors. Like, I think it took me a few years to understand that my first manager she was a woman, by the way, and she was the managing director of a branch in America, like a branch that was opened in Israel, and it was part of an American enterprise company. And she taught me actually a lot, not just a lot of things, but she got me involved in so many revenue dilemmas and best practices and methodologies, even though I was a marketing coordinator back then. And then she transformed me into supporting sales because she was not allowed to call me sales operations. So she found a way to somehow give me more responsibilities, change my title a little bit, so I would be pushed into this path. And she told me, I think a few years ago, like, reconnect with her, and she told me, I saw that in you. I knew the marketing for you, for example, is like, it's not you. Like, your business, you'll do more. You'll make an impact, and the impact would be internally within the business. And so I think communities, like, the power that I've discovered is that you don't really have to be a lonely wolf. You don't have to be or consult, with your colleagues or people around you. You can just cross the line or just hop on a Zoom and speak with one another. And then Zoom became like an integral part of our lives, right? And then, so I said, okay, so we have the community, and we can do that here in Israel, use a platform. Like, we're using Facebook right now, because it was back then super, super easy, and like, I don't know, it gave us even a way to see how much people are engaging or not, how many people are joining, control a little bit the community, and make sure that we are making it professional, and not just, another community to discuss general topics. Like, we are very focused, and we are very, very making sure that we are talking about operations. We are talking about best practices. We are sharing our dilemmas, sharing our concerns, sharing our, I don't know, whatever we want to share, but not personal, like professional. You want a mentor? We don't have a mentorship program right now. We're working on that. No worries. Publish a post, ask for someone, reconnect with people, around you, because you don't have to go to their offices if you're living in one city and their office on a different one. Like, you can hop on a Zoom, and it became so easy. And I think it gave a lot of security for once, because people were not willing to share. I don't know why. I don't think they were afraid. I think it's more related to the fact that they didn't feel that they know enough, or they have experience or trust. So so I think it just, I wanted to create something like that in Israel, because I felt like most of communities were focusing on, like, engineering roles, sales, go to market, sales, marketing, customer success, go to market, like business, more of like technical project management. Nobody talked about operations. Like, operations was like, yeah, we had a few roles. Nobody talked about it. Nobody hired. Like, the salaries were so low. Nobody wants to be part of this process anyway. But I don't know. I always go after my intuition, and I felt that like, we need to push. Like, we should push it. Like, and after 3 years, I think now we are more than 2.5K community members. It's just, a Facebook group, nothing professional like other communities, but I think it gives us the space and the comfort to speak with one another. And also, we are very, very strict in sharing the insights, within the community, and not go and say, like, I DM'd you, like, let's go and have a private conversation. No, we are not promoting that. Like, share the insights. And yeah, it's amazing, like how powerful communities can be, and also in Israel, like and I think, and even today, like I get few messages um, a week, telling me that, Leore, I've heard about you in the community and the optimizer. Like, we need to have a chat. I said, about what? And he's like, yeah, I've like operations. It's interesting. Like, you see it in a different way. I want to understand how you see it. So it's nice. And yeah, we're getting there. So I think we need to, we need to spread the word across, not just the US, but also, and not just EMEA, also specifically in Israel.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think you said, well, it's just a Facebook group or something. It's like, it doesn't matter what the group is. The community, when you think about it, is defined by members helping members in wherever that place is. And so, and to do that, you have to deliver value time and time again, in perpetuity. So, I mean, you're doing that. And so don't say just a Facebook group. Like, you have an amazing community, doesn't matter where it lives. That doesn't define the community. And like we talked, I mean, you're 3 years in. I mean, I think that's what the data shows, is that's when you would be considered a mature community. So I love that it turns out that you're thinking about this growth right at the right time from your specific, for your specific community. So that's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Well, I have really loved our conversation today. As usual, I learned a lot more about you that I did not know. I totally see the Mulan thing. And now I'm going to have to go tell Chet to find some Mulan clips to like throw in the middle of our podcast, just for fun, or add it to the promo reel. I don't know. We're going to have to do something with this. Last question I have for you. So if I were to take away one aspect of your superpower, and if someone was listening, they said, oh yeah, I am also, loyal, brave, and really seek the truth. What's a takeaway you would give them, and how they might be able to use their that superpower and build on it?
Good question. I think I would say, don't be afraid. Like, do whatever you feel like, without thinking about the consequences, about the implications, without the results. Follow your guts. Really, I think this is what I've been doing, because eventually I'm loyal, not just to the company, but mostly to myself. I'm trying to be brave.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm trying to be brave, and I'm trying to be true to myself and to where I am. And I think this is what we need. I think this is how you succeed. And also this pushes us, to push to be better, or to achieve more, or just don't accept no for an answer. Like, we can achieve everything. People told me, back like 10 years ago, what are you doing? Living a law career, you're making a mistake, you're gonna ruin your life, the career, the path that you're building to yourself. And look where I am. I never thought I would be where I am right now, but even, getting sometimes the recognition from global communities, it's like, okay, so maybe I'm doing something good. So, or maybe I'm not just, I'm not just talking rubbish, and I'm actually, people, like, listen to me and see value, with my words, and just, they want to hop on a conversation just to speak about, real stuff, not just saying hi. And also, you meet so many people along the way. But yeah, if you do think that you're loyal, brave, and true, believe in it, because it's there. And just take the risk. Everything will get better. I really, I promise you. Because the stars eventually, are working their way.
Yep. You have to take a leap.
You have to
sometimes, and bet on yourself. And that it's something I say all the time is like, I think people walk around with blinders on, instead of like when a door opens and the path is clear, you're oftentimes meant to walk through.
Sure.
But if they're walking around with blinders, they're not looking for doors. And I think you have that if you say, keep that bravery, that loyalty to yourself, and feel comfortable to take that leap across the threshold and through a new door. So, well, awesome. Well, on that note, I think we got a little deep and philosophical, but I loved it. This has been such a terrific episode, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share your story, your superpower with our listeners. You can connect with Leore on LinkedIn. I know that, and it's just Leore Spira, all one word. I'll put that in the show notes. But where else can they find you?
Well, I think I'm most active on LinkedIn. I've decided to disconnect myself from social media because it just took so much time of my non-free time. And I'm also in communities, global communities, platforms, Slack channels. So feel free to reach out. We can hop on a call, schedule for a virtual coffee. I'm very happy to do that. And also I prefer, seeing, like, even if it's not face to face, at least Zoom meeting instead of just, connecting on social media, which is, so.
Right.
Yeah.
It works, but this is
It
better.
works.
Always. And then we'll link the information for your more information about your community below.
No, so you can find it on Facebook, but the discussions are in Hebrew. So unfortunately right now, and we are trying to transition a little bit to LinkedIn, but we're the optimizers.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Leore. It's been a pleasure as always. It feels like just one of our other conversations that we are now putting on a podcast. So it's been amazing.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thanks for listening, everyone.